Alrighty, what did we do to ourselves here? This is not looking good. Hang on a second while we take care of whatever we did to our little thing. Let's check the Hangout window properties. And we're going to go for the. Where are we? Come on, guys, you got to be there somewhere. Oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. Okay, I broke something here, so let me. Oh, I see what I did. I see what I did. There we go. Okay, are we doing better now? We'd better be doing better. Okay, kids, how are we doing here? I screwed up a little something over there, and that I did not want to do. Let me look for the stuff over here. We have live events, and we have that. There we go. I am so sorry that I screwed that up. I turned off the You saw that, huh, honey? Oh man, that was just a name. I threw that in there to get something on there. Yeah, you ended up seeing my desktop, which was a whole mess, wasn't it? Let me get some names out here, and let's see what we've got. Here's a. I am so sorry that Aron couldn't stick around, but it was great to have him here. It really was. I am so grateful to him for showing up, and hopefully people are going to see this and really take an interest in the protest and possibly the cause. That would be a wonderful thing happening there. I'm going to the messages here. Let me see what we've got. Okay, here's one, and we're going to paste. Look at that, will you? Let's see. There we are. And I'm doing some editing here of the join link, because I always have to do that now for some reason. things are screwed up. Okay, Kate, I have a link out to you. Strike, if you're around, I have a link out to you. Uh, Lena, let's get a link out to you. There we are. And, okay, where are we here? There we go. Yes, it most certainly is the after show. It took a fish head out to see a movie, didn't have to pay to get it in. Okay. I like that. Oh my. Yeah, definitely fish head salad. He's a big sweetie. I was just so frightened that I was screwing everything up. I know that somebody is on screen right now. Hello, Catherine. Hi, Kate.
Hello, how are you then?
Oh, relieved. Let's put it that way because finally the thing went off. Because, oh man, I was so scared that I was fucking something up, okay? And,
Well, technical details okay, but the interview is fine.
well, danke, sure. And, yeah, it was that whole technical details thing. Because, well, Aron mentioned that he had written 4 o'clock his time down. And then with the whole Mother's Day thing and everything else, I guess somehow got things screwed around, and suddenly in his mind it became 6.
Weird.
So yeah, I mean, don't worry, I've had things like that and worse happen to me. Um, so I mean, I have the memory of an elephant. What's an elephant got to remember? And then of course I've got the wonderful the wonderful desktop that shows up when I mistakenly close my link, and then you find Boogle Foo Foo Boo Boo up there.
Yeah, what the hell was that anyway?
I had to come up with a name of a directory really quickly because I was gathering some stuff up and taking it off a hard drive, I think. And I just threw nonsense into the
Mm,
title. And it resembles what my ex would call fluent stupid, where you've got the og foo on the boo foo is going into the moo, and she's looking at me. You're from Pluto, god damn it! I said, well, you're right.
So there was some people asking, and I'm surprised Aron Ra didn't say
Yeah,
it,
I
but
just
but there were some people asking what the name of that movie was that he was talking about, the one that he's going to be in as like an insane preacher or something, and he didn't say. It's called Divine on Fire. I found it on IMDb.
Oh, alrighty then. I have to see this film when it comes out. I definitely have to see it.
It's
Um,
got a really, really weird plot synopsis too.
okay. Is it anything like taking a fish head out to see a movie?
Or you might take one out to see this movie. I don't know. It says this political thriller takes you from the war torn battlefields of Eastern Europe to the dark London clubbing scene. In a world where the truth is a lie and only liars tell the truth, our heroine Zabella is a lone vigilante that deserts her ranks and travels across Europe to confront Firebrand to bring an end to the civil war in her country, a conflict that was created by the incendiary philosophies of Firebrand.
This sounds like something I would have heard on a Firesign Theater show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people
Uh,
were asking. I found it for you, and that's what we're looking
Thank
at
you for
here.
that, by the way. I saw that you posted that in
yay.
chat. So I'm like,
Wait
yay.
a minute,
I'm
Jen
gonna have to
Morgan,
check
is
that out.
anyone going to lick the dining room?
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me either. I mean,
Okay.
it wouldn't shock
What?
me in a movie like that. It wouldn't shock me to have a scene where someone's licking a whole dining room, but
Oh my. Yeah, and as I said, I think I said it before, Fishhead. Yeah, you did say that. And yeah, I've worked with him a couple times before. I have never worked with him when I was running the show. And that's really what was making me nervous. Because I wanted to run it. I
It
wanted to
was
run it right.
it was great. It
And
I
Really,
loved it.
there is nothing to worry about with Aron Ra. He is like the best.
I just wish the schedule could have been a little better. He could have stuck around a little while after show, but I understand the way the schedule worked, and
Yeah.
I am just so thankful to have had him on. And
Absolutely. It was fun. A lot of fun.
is there anybody else out in the side chat who would like to hop on panel here? Because I mean, that's why we're here. That's what this is for. Oh my! And
Hop in, hop on, strap in, strap on. I don't know.
okay, strap on, strap off, strap on, strap off. The strapper. I don't know.
Yeah. See, the problem with that is like, okay, strap on is a thing, but strap is a completely other thing. And they put different pictures in my head when you say one or the other. And yeah.
Well, I unfortunately all too well remember the strap from my childhood, but that's another story entirely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another way I'm glad I was raised by hippie peaceniks, is they really didn't believe in spanking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all those
unfortunately,
two knew.
That was not that way in my house.
Yeah. Although, I mean, honestly, taking away the television set might have been worse, but no, probably not.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you actually punish a kid. Is you take away their social currency, and
Mm,
that'll get them to act right every day of the
yeah.
week. By the way, have you guys? I don't know if I've shown them or not. Have you guys seen my earrings that I'm wearing?
I was
Yeah,
noticing
I was
that.
noticing. Yeah.
And who, what, where, when, how, why?
And I saw the submissive t-shirt as well.
Oh yeah, it says submissive, and well, there's two ways to read that.
Oh, I didn't
Submissive
see
and
the end
witch,
which.
or
Okay.
submissive and switch, the little bird.
Mm.
So yeah, there's two different ways to read that. Submissive
I
and witch,
only
or
saw
submissive and switch.
I only saw the submissive word. The rest of it was never visible before.
Yeah, because I'm sitting, so I'm kind of low.
So is that custom?
This no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's from another YouTuber's
Whoa.
I can't think of words. Merch line. There we go.
Mm.
Brittany Simon. She's a YouTuber. It was from her merch line.
Okay
The
then.
shirt, that is. The earrings and the necklace. It came with a necklace too, which is super cute. I love it because it has this little red dangly thingy.
I'm working on making that
So
out.
cute.
Oh, it's clearly somebody with a collar on or a leash.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I've got screens on top of screens here, so sometimes it gets
Yeah.
a little difficult.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
female like in high heels with like her like leg on the back of another person.
Okay
and-
then.
Yeah. Instantly, can you crank your mic a little? You're hard to hear.
I will try. I might have to just take off my my earbuds. My other ones aren't working. I don't know why. Hold on, let me see. How about now? Is that better right there?
Yeah, that
I heard a
not
mirror.
really. Yeah, that was my cat.
Oh, okay. Yay. Hi, Columbia.
Oh, hey, there you are.
Aw.
Oh, that's easy for you to say. Come here.
She's still pissed
Was
off
it
at
just
you.
the distance?
I don't think she's happy about the couch being gone, no, but
Aw.
she's gonna have to get used to it. You've got a seat. Come on, baby. You've got a chair.
I don't know why these other ones won't connect. That's very strange. I might have to just disconnect them.
This way
Let me
for you,
try
though.
that.
Come on up.
Come on, Columbia. You're being offered a lap.
She doesn't seem to be willing to take permission for things. Like she's so hesitant about like getting up on my lap when I'm inviting her.
Oh.
Like I might have the like she'll be sitting on this chair, and I'll be like, and she'll put a paw out and then take it back, and then she'll put the paw and take it back, and I'm like, you're being given a gilded invitation
It sounds like my cat.
Yeah, I thought I thought you were had by a kitty. That's why I wasn't quite sure
Yeah.
who was making the sounds there. I knew that it wasn't Sylvia, and I'm looking around to see what the hell she's getting into, because Sylvia always gets into something.
I got a new pair of, and for some reason, it cannot find them. It's annoying me. I don't know why.
Oh my! I'll tell you, that's something that really gets to me. Well, okay, I don't. I'm weird. I don't run Windows. I run Linux. And trying to get Bluetooth running consistently on this system is just driving me nuts. That's why I have this cable right now, because this is a Bluetooth headset, and I've got a dongle, but it's a matter of just getting the damn thing to work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was on the computer, but my brother's using it for class. So, anyway, I'm on my tablet. But in either case, both the tablet and the computer can't find my new set. I'm like, but why? Like, I don't know it because this one works a lot better, but it can't discover it.
Okay, and that's basically what happens. Well, sort of, kind of. This will discover the headset, but it won't connect.
Huh?
And it's like, why are you doing that or not doing that?
Yeah.
And sometimes it does, and then other times, most of the time, it doesn't. It's like, okay.
Bluetooth can be a real bitch sometimes. Like when I try to play Pokemon with this thing, it does not. There we are. It does not see my phone very often. Like you have to give it multiple tries before it connects.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I paid $20 for this thing, and it's giving me headaches. Uh, so I don't know. Maybe.
And I cannot be the only one who giggles childishly every time they hear the word dongle.
As soon as she said it, I'm like, wait. I'm sitting here trying not to crack up. I'm like, you just said dongle.
I am such a child.
And then the fact that she said that she couldn't get it to work, I'm like, the dongle isn't working.
That's something
I didn't even think of that part. Oh my gosh.
That is something I would not expect to hear from a woman. Yeah.
I'm bad. I'm really bad. Everyone that knows, it takes a minute for me to like get comfortable, but like once I get comfortable speaking to people, I'm terribly. My mind was born, raised, and lives in the gutter.
Well, it's not very often that a woman will speak of my dongle. Uh, I mean, it does happen occasionally, but
Hang out in the right scene, and you'll hear it a lot.
I just don't get out of the house much. What can I tell you?
Yeah, I need to get out of the house more. I used to more in Seattle, but the social scene around here is so different, and it's, I don't know, difficult, I guess. I know I've described it before, how like the clubs I used to go to in Seattle versus the ones here were like the ones in Seattle were more social, and here it's all like oons, 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 and it's really hard to chat with anyone.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't really have a night scene here.
There is no social scene where I live currently. It sucks. You have to travel like at least 3 hours just to like if you go out and do it. So, oh well. But I don't know. I'm kind of a homebody anyway, so I like to read and just I don't know. I'm a dork. I sit at home, watch Star Trek, and read Friedrich Nietzsche. I mean, there's not really a lot going on.
Oh man, I tried reading the gay science, and I couldn't get very far.
It's good, but I definitely I wouldn't recommend it first. Like at least for me personally, either Thus Spoke Zarathustra or Beyond Good and Evil are really good as like a getting into type of thing. just because they're more interesting and it's an easier read.
Okay. Because I am not all that well read philosophically anyway, as I was alluding to at noon, with Evans. That I took a course in logic, and that's pretty much it.
I love philosophy. Love it. Oh, hey, Sai.
Hello.
Sweetness, hi!
Hi. Boy, was that some show. Most impressive.
Wow, I tell you, I thank all you guys for being there, and I thank Aron for coming on. And I think he may have been a little disappointed. He asked what the take was. I said I saw the number come up to about 38. Now, to somebody like me,
That's a lot.
that is fantastic. That's over twice my usual, watch count.
And with there's going to be a lot of views after as well, I suspect, and
yeah.
that's
In all likelihood.
Yeah,
yeah.
I tried putting in every keyword that I could think of. Even draw some of the opposition in.
That's well. All I have to say is superior job. Your earlier trepidation was not justified.
Oh, donkey,
Never
sure.
was. It never was.
It was,
Certainly not.
it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed every moment.
And that's one point I've been making whenever I chat with people or go to conventions or whatever, is that the YouTubers that you've been watching for ages are not celebrities. We're just people. Really. There's no need to worship. There's no need to be afraid. Just, hang out like we're folks you know.
Yeah.
That's
And anybody that wants you to view them as a celebrity is someone you really want to run the fuck away from. Like,
there you go.
and
Yes.
far.
And you'd think I'd be used to it. I have friends who actually are celebrities, but oh well, what are you going to do?
I've got a friend who works with me at the atheism booth in Balboa Park who used to be in porn.
Hey, all right.
Porn star. Woo-woo.
Did I just hear?
Kitty has an opinion on that.
Okay, so
Much as I love Columbia, her meow is not exactly adorable.
I'm thinking okay, get ready for this, and hit me when you feel the need. Was Columbia complaining about the possibility of kitty porn?
No, she really wasn't. She is, however, probably thinking, hey, it's 20 minutes to dinner time, but by 20 minutes, I mean right now.
Yes, absolutely. 20
Yeah.
minutes to dinner time meant 20 minutes ago.
All right.
This one, because she'll always give me a hard time, and it's after a while, a couple minutes, it's fairly obvious that the bowl needs to be filled. So it's okay. Let's take care of that. And oh look at the shit you put in your water. Okay, let's take care of that too. But such is the life of being had by a kitty. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the cat has you.
Yeah, I've never been one to say I'm a cat owner. I don't own a cat. At the very most diminutive I can put it, she's my roommate.
Okay, that works.
Aw.
Yeah, she's my companion. It's you and me, kid. Yeah, she's probably the only one who will put up with me. Well, shit, I've gone through X's like some people go through socks. So, what can I tell you?
So you'll be heading for the Ark, you say, eh?
Yes, dear. Are you familiar with
fun.
Are you familiar with Purple Rhymes with Orange?
Yes.
He and he's coming to Pennsylvania to pick me up, and then we're going out to Kentucky. And
Very nice.
my understanding, if all goes well, is that Artie will be there as well. Uh,
Artie,
Artemis Brain
hey,
Sample, yay!
hey, that's gonna be great.
And I'm trying to think. There may have been one or two other names that I forget.
Well,
Well,
you know
there's
who
you, of
should
course.
bring?
See,
You know who you should bring? I mean, you've got, like you say, you've got celebrity friends. You should try and see if they can hook you up with another celebrity and bring along Alan Arkin.
uh, oh man, I could do one Alan, but Arkin, no, not that one.
Yeah.
And thank you for reminding me. I haven't sent Al a note in a while, so I'm gonna find out what time zone he's in this time. I
You know,
have,
the last thing I think I saw him in was Speed. Has he done anything since Speed?
oh, absolutely. Let's see. Well, one that you probably would not have seen because you would not have wanted to see it would have been Star Trek Generations, where he did
Actually, I think I did see that at one point.
he did Captain Harriman.
Okay.
And let's see what else he's done. There's a film with Ricky Gervais that I've seen him in, where I forget the title of it, but Gervais's character dies momentarily during a dental procedure.
That was great. That was great. That was Ghost City, I think.
Okay, yeah, because I was over a friend's house, and she put the DVD in, and then all of a sudden I see it, and it's like, ow! And she, what? So she had to run that back to see who I was screaming over.
Okay. He was on Spin City. I haven't seen that. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. I wonder if it's streaming.
I have not seen a single episode of Spin City. He would probably hit me with a wet noodle over that one.
Wow. A couple of episodes of CSI.
Okay.
Never heard of Persons Unknown. Greek, whatever Greek is. Okay, so he's been in a fair amount. It's just nothing I've managed to see.
And then, of course, that first film he did, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. God, we were so proud when we got the news that he was in that one, because I guess he knew Broderick from his time on Broadway.
Oh, okay.
And Broderick said, "Hey, how about this film?"
So that's one thing. If I ever tried to get into acting, I could not do stage for the same reason I don't want to do live debates. I like the ability to screw up and do edits.
See,
Okay.
I'm much more of a live person. Like, I screw up a lot, but I don't know. It fits my personality better. Like, I do much better live than I do video format.
Oh man. Okay.
In fact, I find I screw up less if I know that I can screw up and have it be okay. You know what I mean? Where it's like if I know that I'm not being on the spot, that I have to be perfect right now,
Yeah.
it's actually easier to relax and be, in the moment.
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm pretty comfortable either way. Like, I'm pretty comfortable live. Although, I think if it was something like a debate, I think that's something that I would probably...
Right? Something like what?
You know,
Something like what?
a debate.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you really, really are hard to hear. So,
Let me see if I can put that. Hold on.
Now that looks interesting and possibly even tasty over there, Kate.
well, she's licking her own back.
Okay.
I maybe we're talking about different things.
Yes, I was talking about what was in the bowl.
Oh yeah, it's clementines, citrus.
Oh, I thought it looked like oranges, but I wasn't sure. Oh man.
It's so, I don't know why these are so soggy. They were not in anything wet, but I love citrus. So and it is also like for Colombia, it's almost dinner time for me, and I'm thinking like it's a good snack to have, so I don't have to make a whole meal if I'm going to stick around for a bit.
Oh yay. Um, there we go. Yeah, I'll think of something to do because I never did get that bite to eat between shows. So what I may end up doing is, yeah, whenever this is over, which could be 2:30 in the morning for all I care. I
Mm,
mean, Squall Mart is right across the highway, so maybe a box of pre-fried chicken.
right. Well, I'm trying to lose some of that weight I put on while I wasn't allowed to exercise because of my doctors. But even so, I'm allowed to eat bacon now, and I live really, really close to a fast food joint. So I'm thinking I might like go get a bacon burger or something
Hey.
for dinner.
I'm, I'm actually on my way to White Castle.
Ah,
Oh man, I remember. I do have some fond memories of White Castle because they actually got into Cleveland when I was living there, and my wife liked to go there, so we would go on in and chow down. I'm thinking. I think Sandra and I were still married. If not, then it was Melody who would drag me to Cleveland just to get White Castle. One of the two. Like I
you
say,
know,
I collect X's like some people collect stamps.
in my entire life, I don't think I've ever eaten at White Castle ever.
I had
I can
oh,
I
it's
congratulate you.
I'll tell you, they're great for constipation.
Oh yes, yes indeed. Well,
Having or relieving?
Relieving.
yes, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but for me, I can only have it every 6 months
Hmm.
because after 6 months, you still remember how good they tasted, but you forget what awful things it did to your stomach.
Yes.
Well,
Especially as you get older.
I have actually found, you wouldn't think it, but a remarkable cure for constipation: Pop Rocks.
really.
You eat about 5 or 6 packets of Pop Rocks, and you will be able to launch yourself to the moon through your anus. Trust me.
All right. Okay, I see I'm with the right crowd now.
Oh yeah. I mean, all we need to do now is get Kate on the movie night
Okay.
panel.
Your cat was just climbing the drapes. Movie night panel, you say?
Oh, we got to get you on that panel, definitely. I know it. You would be tearing the films apart.
Oh yeah.
Well, I will not object to this. I will cheerfully do a movie night thing.
That would be absolutely wonderful.
I can guarantee you a night of fun. I can't, however, guarantee brevity.
Wow.
Yeah, because well, this past Sunday was, I believe it was the shortest movie night I've ever been a part of.
Yes,
It was
shortest
under
ever.
it was under 3 hours.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, it
I
was.
was shocked because I'm always hearing how long it is, and I
But
was like,
We'll get there.
well, this was a special case because I've always been kind of funny about not wanting to step on other content producers who are putting on a thing at a specific time, and there was another thing coming up that we all knew about. So
Oh,
we
Gersteiger's thing.
indeed. So we kind of we didn't rush. We covered things thoroughly. Really, at the beginning, we could have just said this is going to be stupid and called it.
Yeah, pretty much.
it was good.
Um,
It was I was thoroughly entertained.
What was I thinking here? The live stream that Gerstleber did ran something like 7 or 9 hours once he got the darn thing going.
Crazy.
I know they were starting to set some of the poles up, and then I was getting tired. This was shit. I'd been up all night, so I go to bed. I get up, and it's still going. It's like movie night.
Oh look who's talking! I caught you doing the same thing.
Oh shit! How many of them have I run? Yeah, well over 5-6 hours.
Indeed.
Oh, man.
I'm muting because I'm coming up to the Dunkin' Donuts order box, and you guys don't need to hear me ordering coffee. I'll be back.
Okay,
man,
then.
I'm actually kind of pissed off at Dunkin' Donuts right now because my favorite Mexican joint is being replaced by a Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Although, okay, actually, I have to ask a question because I don't watch television. I don't see commercials. I'm not keeping up with it. But is Dunkin' a different thing from Dunkin' Donuts? Because it's the same font, same colors, but it just said Dunkin' coming soon. I'm like, because part of my brain is going, okay, so that's like what, just a drive-through, or it's just coffee and not donuts or something. Like, is Dunkin' like an offshoot? Or did they just rename it, or what?
I think they
Same
shortened...
thing. They're changing the name. I'm told.
Oh.
Silly.
Yeah, sort of like the same thing happened with Logitech, which is now Logi.
Oh,
really?
geez.
I didn't notice that.
I've got. I actually have two C920 video cameras here because I was thinking of using a second one for some extra effects here and there. And the first one I had bought several years ago is a Logitech, has the old eyeball and everything else.
Yeah.
And the new one is just plain old Logi, Logi. And that, I think, happened only within the last year or maybe a little bit more than that.
I mean, do they think changing the name like that is going to help sales in some fashion?
I wouldn't be surprised if they do think that.
They got a marketing company. They hired them. Trust. This is how it happens. Oh, can I have a straw too, please?
Hey, yes. Upside down, sweetie. Hi.
Thank you. Whoop. Yeah, I know what happened. They got a marketing company, and when you hire a marketing company as an owner of a company or a corporation, you pay them a lot of money, and so as a result of that, you believe what they say.
I guess you
I
have
to.
to
Have focus groups, though. I mean, I'd love to be on a focus group. Like they're going, okay, so would you be more likely or less likely to buy from Logitech or Logi? I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you people? Logitech's been around forever. Everyone knows it. You change the name and people are going to say, what the fuck's wrong with you people?
Well, see, so doing focus groups is good, and that's due diligence and all that. But let's say you wanted to pay the rent, and in order to do so, you could either do what you just said, or you could just walk in and say, Logi, and make your money. Which would you do?
I'd do what I just said, but that's because I'm a contrary, ornery fuck, so...
The word is ethical. The word is ethical. You are ethical.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Marketing companies, some may not be. Most are, really.
Well, I mean, you'd think they'd have learned their lesson from New Coke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I think New Coke was a trick. Because we went to New Coke, which they knew everybody was going to hate, and they could switch back to old Coke and make everybody happy. But they didn't. They switched from original Coke with sugar, from sugar cane, and came back with Coke Classic is back with corn syrup.
Yeah, which ruined it.
You can still get
Well, ironically, though, right now, everything is like they're coming out with real sugar Coke, real sugar this, that, and the other thing, and most of it's imported from Mexico. And that's like the thing now is real sugar.
Well, yeah, because corn is getting expensive because we're making automobile fuel out of it.
Yeah, how much of the corn crop is going into ethanol now?
I don't know the percentage, but I know it's enough to drive up the price.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be able to eat a bowl of corn for dinner for next to nothing, and not so much anymore. But I don't know where I
I
was
gotta
going.
drop off for just a second, but I'll be back in a few.
Oh
You know what
boy!
I?
Yay! 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 Yay!
You know what I found out
Back on
recently?
my phone. That way you guys can actually hear me.
Okay. You know what I found out recently, and I didn't know this, is that not only do cats love to eat corn, but it's actually good for them. I didn't
Really?
know that. Yeah, because I was looking on Facebook and I saw a video of a guy with a corn cob and his cat was just munching on it the way anyone else would, on this corn cob. I'm like, part of me thought that had to be bad for a cat, that a cat cannot eat corn. And I
That's
looked
what
it
I
up,
thought.
just like I wasn't going to just blast them because I didn't know if it was good or not. I just thought it couldn't possibly be. I look it up, and it turns out that corn is wonderful for cats, and they love the crap out of it.
Oh
That is
my!
very interesting. I thought they couldn't digest, vegetable matter like that of any sort. That's interesting.
I wouldn't have
So
thought either. That's why I was about to blast the guy. But being me, I checked my facts first, and
Ah,
okay, my Miranda was not as weird as I thought she was way back when, years ago. I'm getting things together for dinner, and part of what I'm doing for dinner is opening a can of corn. And my Miranda is like meow meow meow, and it's like, Miranda, it's not tuna. Meow 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 meow. It's not tuna. Meow meow. Take the can of corn, set it in front of her. Here, she sticks her face in it and starts munching on it. It's like, what? I didn't know
wow.
at the time that kitties liked corn. This one prefers peas.
hmm,
She'll reach in. It's crazy. She'll reach into the bowl, hook one of her claws into a pea, pull it out, let it roll until it stops, and then pick it up and eat it, and then repeat the procedure.
Let's see.
Oh man, I always get the weird. Well, I don't know. Do I get the weird cats, or are they normal? And after being around me for a while, then they're you know.
Uh, I don't know. Well,
okay, it is 6 in the PM my time. I'm going to feed the Columbia and be right back.
Alrighty, be waiting for you with bated breath and everything.
we'll miss ya.
Oh God, that reminds me of the scene out of the film The Mask, where the whatever the guy's name was, the main character who turns into the mask. Everybody was firing machine guns, or yeah, machine guns at it, and it comes up from behind the wall. Did you miss me? Drinks a glass of water. Water's pouring out of the holes. I guess not. One of those. It was every MGM Warner Brothers cartoon just rammed all together.
Indeed. Well, hey, to round out the corn discussion, here's a weird coincidence. Um, you know how now for me it's all rockets and space and stuff of that sort, NASA and all, go to the SpaceX things and all that. I grew up in the cornfields of New Jersey. That the name, the Garden State, is actually true.
Oh
We do a
yeah.
hell of a lot, and when I was a kid, we did even more. And I grew up in the little town called the Monroe. Well, it's pretty big, Monroe Township, and has a lot of farming and cornfields, and then what we had surrounding us. It wasn't sweet corn like we buy in the store. It was horse corn, which is
Oh
used for
yeah.
feed.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So it actually had some nutritive value. But anyway, much like James Tiberius Kirk growing up in the cornfields and all space and rockets and stuff after. So
Oh my.
Yeah, like
Okay.
how many sort of like movie and comic and whatever heroes seem to have had sort of a Midwest upbringing. I mean, like Superman's from Kansas, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure I can think of others if I really think about it, but it just seems like so many of them have that sort of rustic, from the heartland kind of origin.
Mm.
I wonder
Yeah.
if that's supposed to be that they're down to earth, regular guys, and all that crap.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And this is why we go see Deadpool.
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Deadpool's so freaking awesome.
That was great. Just the sarcasm, and I just, well, you know me. You could have guessed I love both of those movies.
Well, you know, the funny thing is I watched the second one and didn't like it as much as the first one. And like it wasn't that I hated it, and it wasn't even that I didn't enjoy it, but there was something, it felt like something was missing from it. And then I watched it again on my flight back from Faithless Forum. And I don't know, maybe it's just that it was the second viewing and I knew what to expect, but I liked it a lot more.
Ah, okay. I was about even with both of them. I like both of them, but I was primarily going for the humor. That's what I like best.
I don't know,
Okay,
there's
so
something, but
I'm looking at the map here. So, okay, north-south, you're kind of on a level with where my ex grew up, but you're on the other side of the state. She grew up in Warren County,
Ah,
Phillipsburg.
you know, it occurs to me, there are parts of this country that, while they may not be the Midwest, still have a similar sort of rural thing going on. Like, there should be a superhero from Vermont or Maine or something. You know what I mean? Where
Okay.
it's like this is not the big city, but it's also not the Bible Belt.
Oh, man.
so
Yeah.
we're not looking forward to a Kentucky superhero. Nothing to that. You know, like Ham Man, maybe.
Oh,
Yes,
Lord.
Ham Man.
My goodness.
But okay, that's something that sent chills through my spine when
As well it should.
Aron was talking about how far fucked this country is now.
Oh, indeed.
Well-
And it's. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I talked over you.
No.
Go ahead.
No. We started at the same time, and my mouth was full. You go.
All right. I was not getting with the one with the thing there that there's such lawlessness going on now in government that there's like no defenses now.
Yeah.
You know, judges in some states are look at the abortion thing, and where is it? Where is it just
Ohio, isn't it?
In Georgia and Ohio.
yeah, it's in Georgia that their law, which is clearly unconstitutional because it extends into other states.
Yes.
But-
Yeah.
But it's okay. This is the kind of lawlessness I'm talking that I was referring to. Is that we know it's unconstitutional. So what? What are you going to do about it?
Well, that's the whole
That
thing.
seems to
I
be the
have been
attitude.
having some bitter fights with people on Facebook about the next election and the whole blue no matter who thing, and that the whole election, the only goal should be to get rid of Trump. And it's been, like I say, really bitter. Like a lot of friends are no longer friends anymore over it, kind of thing. I mean, and I'm not even necessarily talking about not friends with me anymore. I mean, like they started their own side chat on my post, and now they're not friends with each other anymore because of the differences.
Hmm. Yeah,
And-
that's disturbing. I've seen that.
Well, I mean, because the thing is, there are some radically different philosophies going on here. There are some people who are saying the only goal should be to oust Trump. And then there's other folks who are saying, yeah, but we also need to look at like left moving progress, that it can't just be status quo. It can't just be, like vote for the lesser of two evils candidate just to get rid of Trump.
Mhm.
And while I see both sides, I am very, very firmly on one of them. So,
Oh yeah. What am I thinking here? Well, we've got to get Jackass out of the Oval Office because of what a president can do, and of course, for example, what the president has done with the Senate to allow him to do it. The court is packed to lawlessness. The court is packed toward injustice now because he picked the two far right justices, and of course they were very quickly confirmed by the friendly Senate.
well, not that quickly.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
you do remember all those hearings.
yeah. So, so
What the hell
maybe
was that
quickly
guy's
is
name
not
now?
the.
The one who was like they said he did sexual shit to someone. What
Oh,
the hell was that guy's
Kavanaugh.
name again?
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh. Thank you. I could not remember that name for the life of me.
Yeah, maybe quickly was the wrong word. Happily might be the better word. Yeah.
I got the feeling that the hearings for that were more for show than for anything. It seemed to me, because any pointed questions were pretty much shouted down.
Well, it was definitely a show. Yeah, definitely the wrong kind of show. I mean, he definitely demonstrated that he was not fit for the job. That meltdown of his. Were there nothing else for me that would have done it? For me that did it. Had I a vote, I would have voted. Like screw this guy.
One thing that was funny about watching Kavanaugh, I got the impression, now granted this may be complete and total projection, but I got the impression that he didn't just want to be a Supreme Court justice, but that he wanted it to be an awesome thing. Like, he seemed really disappointed that all of this shit happened surrounding his appointment because it didn't let him enjoy it enough. Like, it felt less like a victory and more like a finally kind of moment for him. Like he wanted it to be sort of a pop the champagne cork moment, and instead it was too much of a slog, too much of a hard fight for him, if you see what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
That was very much the vibe he was giving off, and as I say, that might be projection, but that's what I saw.
And the other thing about all of this, you've got the far right, the Republic thugs, if you want to put it that way, doing whatever they want to do with impunity because they can. There's no one to stop them. There is no recourse, not even built into the system. It's not there.
Well, see, here's the thing, is I have seen some politicians come right out and say that if Bernie is the nominee, that they're going to vote for Trump. And these are politicians, and they're Democrats. And it just shows you what their goals are.
Oh,
What their values are. Is that they don't care about people, they don't care about justice, they don't care about making a better life for ordinary people. They care about their own power and their own bank accounts, and that's it.
And I have to wonder what might be necessary to straighten things out, and I really don't want to say much more.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's stuff I want to say that could potentially get a person arrested.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, I haven't got that much time left. I mean, seriously, I've got more life behind me than ahead of me. I'm not going to live to 120. So it's less. What's the word I'm looking for? Less of a problem for me, but still, it could be problematic no matter what. And this is one of the reasons, and I say it often enough, and maybe I am trying to make a point when I say this. Maybe I really, this is the stuff that goes into. I really don't mind dying. Okay,
I know what you mean.
I'm gonna, if all goes well, and I die pretty soon, I'm gonna miss out on a lot of shit that I don't want to be around for. That can be nothing but good.
Well,
But
here's
the
the
rest
thing
of you
about that,
guys
though.
are still around. You still
But
have to
see,
put up with it.
that's the thing, is I have, for the last, let's call it 6 years, seriously considered just leaving the country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've been trying to think of places where would it be good to live that's not the US for someone who doesn't speak a foreign language. And I've looked at England, but the weather is potentially a problem because I left Seattle because of the weather. And
Yeah.
so it seems like my best options are probably either Australia or New Zealand.
Okay. And I understand it's rather friendly there anyway, so it might not be a
Yeah.
bad thing. And,
So, but I mean, at the same time, some part of me, that devil's advocate in my brain, is going, that could be a little extreme. You know, so that part of me that's saying, "Are you sure about this?" is thinking, you know, is this like taking your ball and going home? Is this all sour grapes? This idea of
no,
leaving the country?
no, it's not. Um, because it's trying to get the hell out before you get squashed.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's part of why I sort of half-heartedly support the Cal-Exit movement, if you're familiar with that one.
Yes. And yeah,
I
this
mean,
is
because
one of
I
the
already live
reasons.
in California. If it's possible for us to secede and be our own country, that'd like kind of kick ass.
Yeah, one of the reasons I kind of wish I did live in California. I mean, okay, with me the big thing is cost of living, but what can I
Yeah,
tell you?
I've had some people ask me many times how it is I can afford a condominium in San Diego, of all places, and I never really gave it too much thought. The fact that my parents bought this place for me. And because I don't know, it just never really occurred to me to wonder how they could do it. Because, like I say, my parents live in Vermont. My dad's been like, he's worked in energy conservation and computers for a long time. It didn't seem like they could possibly have afforded this for me, but I didn't look into it too hard. But then I found out my parents got into real estate, and I found out what they're actually worth, like financially, and I'm like, fuck, okay.
All right
Yeah,
then.
I don't want to give an actual figure, but yeah, they're millionaires. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah, cost is not a huge concern for me. If I have to leave this benighted backwards land, I can probably do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I wish I could. Well, number one, I don't have the money to do it. Number two, there are a lot of places that would not want me because of my medical problems.
Hmm.
And allegedly, as far as Katrina tells me, she and her husband were denied permanent residency in Canada because their daughter has Down syndrome.
Huh.
No, I
They
don't
were
know.
denied.
Yeah.
It seems strange to me that they would reject someone on that basis, unless they're just going, yeah, we don't want to pay for your health care.
That's
Um,
the thing that
Yeah,
seems to be the
that's
case.
strange.
yeah. I wonder though. I mean, if someone says, "Look, I'm solvent," you're not going to have to. Or I mean, that makes me wonder: could I emigrate based on the whole like epilepsy thing, which is cured, right? But at the
Hmm.
same time, would they say, "Yeah, but we wouldn't want to take that chance"?
Yeah, that's something you'd have to wonder about and actually worry about. Let's face it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
you don't want a gate slammed in your face over something like that.
right. I don't know. I mean, but it's something that if it comes down to that, it'll have. I'm going to wait till after the 2020 election.
Okay.
just to see what happens. I mean, because it would be premature. Like suppose I decide, screw this, I'm out of here, and then Bernie wins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean,
and I've had a
also
lot of
wanted
people
to
say,
leave
"What, you're
based
only
on that
gonna
good
vote for
status.
Bernie if he's the nominee?" I'm like, no, there's other candidates I find acceptable. There's just other candidates I find to be deal breakers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
As for the whole emigrating, for and I would not. I I understand that completely. Things are not so good. Okay, that's putting it very lightly. But personally, I keep thinking, for me anyway, it's a stand and fight sort of situation, and we have the tools. And it's not this armed rebellion nonsense that there are wackos talking about that kind of thing. We've got the tools. The system as it is, it's not broken. It still works. We have votes, all of us, and they don't matter. Wrong, they do. And we have as big a mouth as all the Russian trolls that could influence anything, and all the loudmouth, ultra conservatives. And guess what? The ultra liberals are dangerous too.
Yes.
It's not
yes.
just one. It's not just one party.
I have
Oh,
to
I'm sorry.
disagree with something you said, though.
Okay.
I think the system is broken.
Oh, maybe is it possible? Maybe the system. Well, okay. What part of the system do you think is non-functional? You may be right.
Why do I keep saying electrical college? The electoral college is broken. I mean, because if you look at it, votes in smaller states actually count a lot more
Yes,
than
they
in
do.
larger states.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so that is not okay. We need ranked choice voting so we can have more than a two-party system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
so
do we stay away from the?
System. It's absolute bull.
So when I say the system is broken, I mean that how we end up with our leaders is heavily slanted in many ways. Like gerrymandering is a huge problem.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And
so when you say that it's not that the system is broken, I have to fundamentally disagree.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing we need, as far as I'm concerned, is accountability at the top, because there are too many situations where, for example, the Merrick Garland situation, where a certain Senate Majority Leader decided no hearings at all, and there's nothing you can do about it, even though he's constitutionally bound. Because it's the president may appoint judges to the Supreme Court with the advice and consent of the Senate. Okay?
Yes, exactly.
And he's
They have to be
removing the Senate
confirmed.
from that process. He's not even going through the motions. We're saying, okay, we'll have the hearing, but we're not gonna pay attention to it. We're simply gonna vote him down anyway. Not even that.
Yep.
And this is how you ended up with the Kim Davis problem.
Yep.
Where
And also,
she could
I
not
don't
be
believe
removed.
that our political system should function with all of these lobbyists, and it's essentially who has the most money and can buy their way in. It shouldn't be that way. I think that number one, you shouldn't have money in politics the way we have it in America, and number
True.
two, I think there should be a cap. Like each candidate can get so much money, and that's it.
Well, one solution to something like that I heard about, and I don't know how workable it is, but then I don't know much about money, is that the candidate's campaign should be funded by the government.
Yes.
That everyone is given exactly the same amount by the government, and that's all you're allowed to spend.
That's
Ideal.
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well,
I would very much like that.
That's where that whole dollar of your income tax earmarked toward elections was supposed to start us going.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do it. I haven't filed a tax return in years because I have had no taxable income. So I really don't know what a tax return looks like anymore.
Yeah. No, and it's the same with me. I mean, like I say, it's weird. The amount I earn is below the cap for needing to file income tax.
Same. Yeah. I don't file taxes because I have no money.
Yeah. But I mean, again, it's ironic because, like I said, I have this place here and I don't pay rent on it. It's all bought and paid for, which means that cost of living for me is groceries and electric. Right. So, on the mere pittance that I make, I actually have a fairly decent financial cushion just because I'm spending so little,
Yeah.
you know. And I think I've told this story before, I'm not sure, but at one point I was like, I just want to buy myself a present. I want something, some new bit of entertainment or something, a toy. I don't know. And I went to the store with a friend of mine and nothing looked good. Like there was not a damn thing, like a gadget or anything that I wanted. And that was one of the weirdest feelings I've ever had.
Ooh, could you teach me? See, because I suffer from shiny object. I suffer from shiny object syndrome.
Well, and I
Anything
guess
that plugs in,
another
lights up,
part of
spins
it,
around. Anything with a CPU, I'll buy. I need your wisdom.
If you spend enough time without disposable cash, it can really affect your willingness to spend it, even when you realize that your bank account is stuffed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when I bought my virtual reality rig, I felt guilt pangs for spending that much money.
Yeah.
I look at my Amazon account and I'm like, I want to get a new book for my Kindle. Do I really want to spend $8.99? And like that part of my brain is going, dude, that's like hardly any of your bank account. Do it. But another part of me is going, I can't. That's too much money, even though
Yeah.
it's not. It's
Yeah.
such a weird sort of like, I guess dichotomy is the word for it. I can't.
Yeah.
That the contradiction is so weird in my brain.
Well, dude. What you have successfully done is, I suspect you're not neck deep in credit either. Then.
Actually, I am, and that's the weird thing.
Oh my!
Because my income has been so low, and I still have student loans. I don't have to pay my student loans. What they do is every month they count the zero I've paid as a successful payment, and so my credit is through the frickin' roof.
Yeah, same
I
here.
had that.
I didn't mean you don't. I didn't mean.
Now
Whoops, sorry.
Oh, you meant credit card debt?
That's what I meant. I meant credit card debt. I didn't mean you don't have credit as an acceptable risk for creditors. I meant the opposite, that you're not neck up to your neck in credit card debt.
I see. Okay, yeah, no,
Yes,
I'm not.
Yeah, because that's the thing that we would have a lot less financial difficulty going on in the country if everyone was not sunk into that trap, because it's too easy.
Well, I mean, if I like the idea that what's his name, Jeff Yang, something like that, was talking about where they give you this. Oh, I can never remember the real word for it or the real term for it. I call it basic living stipend because they had that in a sci-fi novel.
Universal basic income.
That, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that is such a great idea because it'll pay for, if not all of most people's housing, then most of it. And the cost of living goes down dramatically. Of course, it would help if wages had not been stagnant since the 80s. That would help a lot. But I mean, even so, just getting $1,000 from the government every month would really help a lot of people who need it.
But you have all these people that are like, oh, well, that's just encouraging, a welfare state and all this shit. And I'm just like,
well, someone else was pointing out that because a lot of jobs are going away because they're being done by computers and machines and stuff, we have to take that into account. That it's not like that people should be shamed because they don't have a job. They don't have available jobs. Like, I know a lot of people who are going, I want to work. I very much want to work, but I can't because the jobs aren't there.
Exactly.
So, I think that we have to find a way to make sure that everyone's provided for. But then I've had a lot of people say, like, especially about the healthcare debate, they're like, well, why should I have to pay taxes for this? Or taxes are going to go through the roof. And when you point out that, like, you won't need private insurance, which gouges you anyway,
Exactly.
they don't take that on board. And they're like, well, then why should I pay my taxes for everyone else's benefit? It's that whole I've got mine, so screw you thing that people do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just people are locked into this mindset where, as much as I love the pop culture of the 80s taught people that, it's gimme, 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 everyone for themselves, dog eat dog, and
Yeah.
get rich, rich, rich on everyone else's back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people just, I don't know why they're so removed, but I mean, like you said, just out for themselves, and people are very locked into this mind state of, one day they too will become a billionaire.
Oh,
and none
yeah.
of this will matter, and then they too can forget about the little guy and say screw you. Like,
I mean, there's a
strange.
quote about that where it's like no one in America is poor. They all think they're temporarily embarrassed millionaires.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, who said
Very
that? I
true.
don't remember, but man, is that true.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even me. I keep looking at that animation project I'm working on, and some part of me insists it'll be seen by someone in Hollywood and go, let's make a TV series out of it, and in the process, make Kate rich.
Yeah.
And I have to keep reminding myself how unlikely that is.
Yeah.
It's kind of what, like, I have this dream that I want to try to make a reality, and I have a friend who might be able to help me out with that. Is like, I live maybe a 2-hour drive from LA, and I want to be an extra in everything. Like, go to an agent and say, don't make me a star. I just want to be in the background of every coffee shop scene. I want to be that crew member on the Orville who's walking down a hallway back to the camera, and I'm just there to wear the uniform. Like that, I want to make that happen,
Awesome.
Because I mean, how many people go to Hollywood who are like uber attractive in the way that's marketable, and like have the acting chops, but they just never make it because the opportunity isn't there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want any of that. I just want to be an extra, and that's the only thing I want. Don't make me the next star. Just make me a prop, a living prop. That's all I want.
There you go. I think
Oh, Jen, you have a point. Yes, I guess technically I'm rich because I have zero housing expense, but at the same time, I'm not start my own space program or make my own movie rich, and that's what I meant.
right.
Hi, Michelle. Oh man, I am told that it was a great show, so I hope you'll enjoy it when you watch it later.
Yes, it was awesome.
I mean, I'll take your words for it, guys. What can I tell you?
Oh, I wasn't bored.
Me either.
It's funny. My smartwatch thinks that spinning the fidget spinner is me exercising.
Okay,
if,
then.
If you see me checking my watch, it's because it vibrated, and it says right now, dynamic workout, 10 minutes, 59 calories, keep it up.
Oh, nice.
Oh, jeez.
That's great.
All right.
Well, going back to the politics thing, I really wish America would adopt some of like Europe's policies. Like, for example, the fact that they're not allowed to advertise on television or anywhere. The only thing they can do is like they can have posters and billboards, but there has to be a limit to like how big it is, and there has to be a limit on how many. But they can't have commercials. And like part of me
Okay.
thinks we should do
Well-
that, but the other part of me is like, how else would Americans know? Because Americans don't read jack shit in general, like
You
they
noticed.
only see
Now-
commercials.
When you
So,
say no commercials, does that include the internet?
I don't know if they include the internet or not. I actually am not sure about that. I just know they can't run ads on television.
Because I don't watch television, and everything I know about all the candidates comes from the internet. But it's like I'm swamped with it. I can see it every day.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I mean, shit, when I'm watching YouTube, I'm inundated by political campaign ads and, support Trump.
Right.
And
Oh,
I'm like,
my gosh. You know what's funny? I was on Facebook earlier today, and I got this ad that said, "As a dedicated Democrat, we want you to take this survey about Joe Biden." And I figured, oh, what the heck? Why not? And I want to say it was the second question, was a big old write-in box. And it's and it said, what are your most important issues for the 2020 campaign? And
Thanks,
put each
Morton.
one
Take
on
care.
a separate line. So, like most of the things I put down were the things we're talking about, universal health care and ending the wars and all that stuff. But the very first line was electing Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard. I'll settle for Elizabeth Warren, but not Joe Biden. Never Joe
No.
Biden.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I actually wrote that to the Joe Biden campaign. And then what
Hell yeah.
struck me as so telling of their like sense of self-importance was down at the bottom were two things where it's like, are you dedicated to Joe Biden's campaign? And the two check boxes were yes, or I don't care about Trump.
Oh
right?
my God.
And then there was another one right below that was, are you willing to donate to Joe Biden's campaign? Yes, here's how much, or no, I don't care about Trump. Like they figure it's this like foregone conclusion that it's going to be Joe Biden.
So,
Yeah.
Well, no,
what?
that's
It's
gonna
Clinton
work.
all over again.
What?
Yeah.
It's Hillary Clinton all over again.
Yeah.
It's
Basically.
It's my turn. It's my turn. What the
They
fuck
haven't
here?
learned their lesson. It's so maddening and it's disheartening to see, honestly. Because
Yeah, but that's
it is Hillary all over again. Like, how long is it going to take you to learn? Democrats don't want, and the American people don't want another fucking establishment candidate.
Mm-hmm.
We don't.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Quite
the
true.
thing. Is
We can't
when
afford another one.
No.
Yeah.
We
Well,
can't.
when I've been having those bitter arguments with people on Facebook, their whole thing is we have to oust Trump. We can't have 4 more years of Trump, so vote blue no matter who. And I'm like, yeah, but that will get us another Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden or something. We won't see change. And they're
Exactly.
like, yeah, but at least we'll sort of take baby steps toward change. I'm like, no, we won't. And even if we do, if another Republican gets elected, which they will because the Democrat will be uninspiring, even if they're a president, they won't have learned anything. We have, like, I'm telling them that my vote won't exactly be a protest vote if it's not Bernie, Tulsi, or Elizabeth, but it kind of will. And I keep telling them that these candidates need the progressive vote. You will lose without the progressive vote, so you need a progressive nominee. And their answer is, well, enjoy 4 more years of Trump. I'm like, but and they say, why can't you compromise and meet us in the middle? And I'm saying compromising is like right away is basically saying I've given up before I've begun. Like I'm not even going to fight. And they seem to try to say, oh, but we are fighting. We're just doing it slowly. I'm like, why can't we do it in leaps and bounds? Why not? And apparently they just refuse. They refuse.
Well, with the survey that you mentioned, that's a little worrisome because I'm sure you noticed that. Well, I think you or one of us said that. Oh, it seems like it's a foregone conclusion.
I think that was her. I think it was Silver said that.
Okay, I don't think that's it. I think it's a clever psychological trick that the easily swayed will be swayed by that.
Okay,
and it's
so
going to work.
Most of the American Democrats.
It'll work. It'll work. You show them with things. Say, are you gonna strongly support Biden? Oh no. And then what's this other choice? Oh no. I don't want Trump. Okay, I better check the other box.
Yeah.
And they'll keep that in mind. This kind of trickery from what from a party that we're hoping is going to put somebody forth that's going to be ethical and do the right thing and all that sort of thing is somewhat worrisome. Okay, not
Well,
somewhat. It's very worrisome.
Yeah,
I'm
extremely.
just hoping that not as many people will get that survey. That because I mean, it just popped up as like a Facebook ad. You know how sometimes you get these like random "you might enjoy this group" kind of
Yeah.
things on Facebook. It was one of those, and I think a lot of people will just scroll past it. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know who else is getting it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, one can hope, but with the proper amount of money put into putting those ads up, they can be directed to the right people through Facebook. So I hope not many. That's I'll just say that. I hope not many because that will work as a trick.
I tell you what, I hate to do this, but
Okay.
could you guys kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Promote me and get me the nomination.
Oh man,
Happy
like
to.
okay, I've actually had people tell me I should run for some seat or other, and I am pretty goddamn sure I'm unelectable.
Well, look. If you're gonna all right, you know what? Okay, go ahead. I will terminate Psy 2020. You'll never see it again. You're the one.
Well,
I'll concede.
well, but see, here's the thing: is I think a lot of people will end up having a really difficult time running campaigns in like the next couple of years because you saw that whole thing with AOC where they found her dancing like it was the Breakfast Club and they tried to use that against her.
Yes.
Well,
So
like you look at millennials and xenials and whatever the hell the most recent generation is, I'd say just about all of them have said really embarrassing things on the internet. That most of them have like YouTube videos or something where they've said
absolutely.
something where the public will look at it and go, well, I can't elect this yo-ho, you know?
Yeah.
And so it seems to me that the next couple of candidates in like the next decade or two will have to be raised in isolation or they're unelectable.
Yeah. And hers
Yeah.
wasn't even embarrassing. It was just cute.
Well,
It
I
was
mean, hers
adorable.
was, yes, but what about the next candidates? You know, what
Oh,
about
yeah.
someone
Oh, I know what
who
you
who
mean.
has, you know, had this blazing row with someone else over like World of Warcraft or something, and people go, well, is that the person I really want in charge of my country? The person who you know, whatever. It seems to me that that is something that will be very difficult for future candidates.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
I
results of
agree.
that are kind of chilling as well because candidates that are basically groomed for, like you said, in isolation so that this can't happen to them forcibly, that means they are removed from the public that they are supposed to serve. So they
Exactly.
can't serve. So this
Yep.
is a dark road indeed.
Yeah.
And they're very
Yeah.
people that we don't want in office because they are like they're anti everything that I personally believe in. Like
Mhm.
I
I
have
don't.
friends that like make I feel like I feel like I'm part of Fox News or something because like my mother watches it incessantly and nothing else, and then I have a group of friends that the way that they speak, I feel like I'm on like the set of Fox and Friends. All they do is sit there and rag on AOC and Bernie Sanders, and I'm just like, what what is your beef? Like, what is
Mm.
so stuck up your ass about these people? They're perfectly reasonable. Their ideas are good. Do you have a better one? If you do, put your money where your mouth is and run yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I people don't seem to understand it when I tell them I'm going to vote on policy rather than people. They seem
Exactly.
to not understand what that means, and they're like, "Well, but you have to vote for this person." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to. I'm going to vote on what I believe in, and if that's not the Democratic nominee, so be it." And then you get the whole, well, welcome to 4 more years of Trump. And I'm like, well, if you don't want Trump, then you're going to have to come over to my side.
Exactly.
You know, because I'm willing to risk that for this like Hail Mary pass to try to get the right person as
Yes.
president. And you're not. So you're going to have to compromise and go hard left instead of the middle.
Agreed. And this is where I feel like America has been completely brainwashed, in the sense that, for example, did anybody see or hear about the interview with Alyssa Milano?
Where she wants to withhold sex.
I didn't hear that part. No, the part where she threw her
Oh,
support in
wait.
on Biden.
I'm not thinking. I think I might not be thinking of Alyssa Milano. I'm gonna have to check that. But there was this whole thing about like like an '80s kid star has come out and said like until they correct this whole birth control thing, all women should withhold sex.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Interesting.
And I'm going to look for the name
haven't-
of the
I haven't
person.
seen that yet. But regarding like her support of Biden, she did and said the one thing that most Americans
Oh, wait a
do
minute. I know where
believe,
I can look.
and it's the trap.
Oh, it
She
is
was
Alyssa
like,
Milano.
Alyssa Milano was, she was on Charmed, she was on, Who's the Boss?
Yeah.
Back in the 80s and early 90s. But she said that she supports Biden because he's the only person that's going to beat Trump, and that the only thing that matters in this election is beating Trump. And they specifically asked her about policy, and she said, and I quote, "You're not going to beat Trump based on policy." And my brain literally just poofed.
Hold on, Sai. Hold on a sec. Sai, you're making a lot of noise, and I cannot hear children.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, but she said that you couldn't beat Trump based on policy, and I'm just like, what? Like, that's exactly where you beat Trump, is on policy. Like, if you put the right candidate with the right policy, someone like Bernie, who, by the way, 80% of America agrees with his ideology, like, on every single effing issue, like, politics be damned. And that's why Fox was so flabbergasted to have their audience agree with him.
And yet, if you look at some of the major networks, they are pushing so hard this narrative that like the American public does not like Bernie Sanders, despite what the polls say. And a lot of the polls that they have that are promoting Biden are like heavily slanted. They're not unbiased.
Yes.
Well, wait a minute now.
Bernie is the most popular senator in U.S. history.
Well, that's what the polls are saying. What are the Italians saying?
See, I try to be funny and succeed.
Oh, snap.
I'm sorry about what you heard earlier was Jeep noise. I had turned onto a highway and increased speed, and that was a noise. You see, I was supposed to be at White Castle about 40 minutes ago, but the problem is you people are so damn interesting. What the hell?
Wait, but I swear I heard you ordering something.
No, that was just the coffee, and that was when I decided I'm not taking a break from this. These people are interesting. And so it is for that reason that you had to suffer highway noise, and I apologize. Let me cut back to mute again. I will unmute if I have something to add.
But you're not making that noise anymore, so
red light.
Oh.
Trust me, it's coming. It's a Jeep. It's unavoidable. But I'll be here.
Bob the Wonder Jeep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust the way most people are gonna vote because they really are voting on personality.
Yes,
they really
they
are
are.
voting on names. Like, I'm willing to bet that if we were to say this candidate supports this candidate supports that, but you don't get to know who it is, which one would you vote for, their choices would be radically different from what they are now, where they get to see that like that face or that name, that whole dog whistle of, I have to vote for this person. I need to vote for a brand.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just, again, I find it disgusting. And it's extremely disheartening to see this is America. And, it seems like no one actually gives a shit about policy. And I don't understand why.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't understand rabid patriotism either.
Oh my God.
Well,
I think it was when I was on that ACA show, Truth Wanted, where we were talking about how people have fetishized the flag.
Yes.
yeah. Well, this is 1930s Germany.
Mm.
And
I love fetishes, but that is not one I'm behind. Okay. I'm not
Okay.
into that.
It's like the insanity where people are like, well, if a flag has touched the ground, it's now tainted and you have to burn it or something like that. And someone got like a mountain of shit for flying the flag upside down because people were like, oh, you're desecrating the flag, when traditionally flying a flag upside down means it's a sign of distress.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy the way that people fetishize the flag.
Again, another example of property over people.
Mm-hmm.
Property is always more important than humans in America.
Oh, gee, Jen, you've swallowed the Russian Kool-Aid? Really?
Wait, what happened?
I'm looking at what Jen Morgan has said, and that's why the Russian efforts worked. But even before the Mueller report came out, the Russians spent what was it, $1,400 or something to put out ads on the internet. It was like this infinitesimal little thing that probably had 0.1% effect on everything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if you think the Russians were a huge influence on the last election, that's Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I do believe, don't get me wrong, I do believe that we should actually, it troubles me that Trump doesn't speak about it at all, and why would he? But I'm just saying, he's the president, he should.
Well, you've seen that whole thing about how he says the Democrats stole 2 years of his presidency.
Yeah, and he wants 2 more years.
It's ridiculous.
And the damn thing.
Laughable.
Well, it reminds me of the way Kavanaugh behaved about his appointment, where he seemed to think that the whole like case against him and the reasons why he shouldn't be a Supreme Court justice were like this big injustice done to him.
Yes. Yeah. This whole thing about stole 2 years and I should have 2 more years because of it. It's not. It doesn't amaze me as much as the fact that there are people out there buying it.
Mm-hmm.
He can say whatever he wants, but there are actually people saying, "Yeah, you're right," and it's like, wait a minute.
Well, I mean, not to make too many assumptions, but it feels a lot like how Christians keep saying they're persecuted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It seems to have that same vibe of we love to be victims.
You don't get to be the fucking majority class that makes the majority of the decisions and be persecuted. It doesn't work both ways.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
This is one of the reasons why I want them to stop the planet so I can get off.
I have said that so many times. It's not even funny. Like, I have a t-shirt that my friend is helping me design that says that.
Yeah, well, I've got a meme I like to post every now and then where there's a UFO and someone's got money and going, I will literally pay you to abduct me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, it will be worth the anal probing to get
I
the
was
hell off
just
the
fixing to
planet.
say, I will happily take a probe up the ass for that. Okay,
Yeah,
happily. You can probe me
yeah.
to kingdom come. I don't care. Like, let me go home to my people, cause it's not Earth.
Oh, I keep hoping that my birth parents will show up at some point, and it turns out I'm from like Krypton or some shit.
Right?
You know.
I'm telling you, I'm an alien. I got here by accident. I don't know what happened. I'm waiting for my my alien
Yeah.
parents to come back and get me.
I mean, I know it's not true. Of course, it's not true, but I keep wishing.
Nothing wrong with wishing.
Hmm.
I will continue to. I'm still wishing, so it's okay.
Well, hell, I mean, look at the shirt, right?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. America is just so. We were crazy before, but our level of insanity has just not only has it peaked, but it's gone off the cliff and just like crashed and burning is where
Mhm.
we're at, I think.
Well, and part of what scares me is how much global influence the United States has. I mean, perhaps even
Yes.
leaving the country won't get us out from under that shit.
Nope. And I mean, you've heard about the I can't remember what it's called or if they've even named it yet. But our allies as well as some of our enemies are actually getting together without us to discuss America as a threat because of
Mhm.
Trump.
Mhm.
The level of like global influence that we have has diminished greatly. And like people are always saying, like people like my mom, for example, are always saying, America is respected again because of Trump. And I'm like, wait, what? What planet are you on?
I mean, if by
America is
respect,
pissed for like, oh my God, we're seen as a laughing stock
I
because
mean,
of Trump.
if by respect they mean feared, okay. But
Feared because of insanity and
yeah,
dementia. Yeah.
and I mean, the funny thing is, I've actually seen an article, and I don't know if I can find it, and I don't know if it's true, but I saw an article that said that Trump will leave office in exchange for like immunity. You know, where he's like, okay, fine, I'll leave office just long as you can't prosecute me for anything. And I'm like, he
No,
knows he's
I
scared,
wouldn't
and
be surprised.
as much as I know it takes an act of Congress to like declare war, real war, or to have nukes launched, it would not surprise me to
No.
find Trump thinking in his head that like if I leave office, I'm fucked over. I know I am. I'm going to jail. I'm losing everything if I leave office. So let's nuke everything if I'm not
Yeah.
reelected.
Well, the
I mean, I'm
problem.
sure that's crossed his mind, and I'm sure he doesn't realize it's not his decision to make. Um, or
Well, the
maybe he doesn't.
problem
But
is it.
my point is that I'm sure it's crossed his mind. I'm sure he wants to.
Yeah.
As far as I understand it, it is his decision to make.
No,
Well,
it's
I mean,
not.
because like
No. Launching nukes has to take Congress to do it.
the nukes part, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I
Yeah.
must be. I must be full of it, and that wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last.
Hmm.
Although
Am I?
we
Well,
don't
this
have
is something I've looked
illegal
into.
wars
So,
going on. Like,
Is,
for
is,
example, the drone strikes that we have in, what is it, 7 or 8 different countries now. You're supposed to get a new order for that by Congress, a new vote each and every single time. And Obama never did that. He just went off of Bush. and then Trump did the same thing, only added a country or two to it.
Well, I mean that's a thing. Like they've found a way to justify it to themselves by saying that
Mhm.
it's like a police action
Yeah,
rather than a real war, and so that makes it legal without Congress.
that nobody's fighting it, because Congress isn't fighting it. It's just kind of like, oh, okay,
Okay,
sure.
Jen Morgan, here's like I gotta say, back at you. You cannot blame everybody else for choosing a different path than the
Yep,
moderate. I mean, if you're going to say, well, it's the moderate or 4 more years of Trump, and you're going to blame me for saying it's the progressive or 4 more years of Trump,
yep.
I mean, you cannot. You're not blameless on this. I
The
mean, if you
moderate will get Trump reelected.
exactly. But
Period.
even if that's not
Period.
the case, you still need the progressive vote. So it's
Yes.
4 more years of Trump if you don't come to our side as well. You cannot, you're not blameless on this. You don't exist in that vacuum.
Yeah. I
But seriously, those bitter fights I was talking about on Facebook were exactly about that, where people were like, well, if you don't do what we say, then it's 4 more years of Trump. And I'm like, well, as I say, back at you. You know, where are you bending to us? You're not. And you're acting like it's all our fault, all our responsibility, and it's not.
Yeah. I think there's I don't know.
I mean, there's too much of a split in the Democrat Party,
There's
and it's like the entrenched people who insist that we have to go back to the status quo that are causing the problems.
I agree, because I'm fed up, and so every poll has proven the American people are fed up as well with the status quo. Most people don't like the status quo. That's how we got Trump.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Oh, and
literally how he got considered a serious candidate in the first place, because they were hoping that he would come in and he would literally just flip the game board upside down.
well,
But that's
and the
not what
Democrats were
happened.
so
He
certain.
became part of the establishment because he's wanted that his whole life.
And the Democrats were so certain that Trump was like unelectable
Yeah,
that they could back Hillary, and everybody would be on board with it no matter what they were told, simply because of the threat of Trump. And it proved to be not true. And they
exactly.
haven't learned the lesson. They
No,
think that they can try the same thing over again, and because Trump has been so horrible, it'll work this time, and it won't.
nope.
I
No, it won't.
mean, you need a populist in office.
Yes.
And if you don't do that, I mean, part of Trump's message during his campaign was that he's a populist. He was full
Right?
of shit, but that was
Thank
part of
you.
his message, and he got a lot of like even left wingers to jump ship
Yeah,
because that's what they wanted. They wanted something other than the status quo, and that's what Trump seemed to be, and so they voted for him specifically to not have Hillary anymore. And it didn't
exactly.
like the Democrat strategy didn't work. They misjudged the market, and they're still doing it.
Yep. Because I mean, I know people that are progressive and they voted for Trump, like you said, only for that reason, and they regret that decision
Mhm.
so much.
I've seen interviews
So
like
much.
that where they got a panel of Trump voters on there, and they say, "Do you regret your decision?" I think it was something like 2 out of 7 said no, and the rest of them were like, "Oh, totally. That was the
Yep.
worst thing I've ever done."
Mhm. The only
Okay,
person
and
I know
again,
that voted for Trump that does not regret it is my mom. And my mom
no,
is like hardcore conservative,
okay,
cuckoo, crazy Alex Jones person.
okay, here's the thing, Jen. You say, but if it comes down to an election of not Bernie and Trump, Well, there are not Bernie candidates that I will happily vote for, but all of them are progressives. All of them are similar to Bernie. What I won't vote for is a lesser of two evils candidate. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not ever again. It's just not going to happen. And
That's how we got here in the first place.
exactly, if
Is
that
accepting
message is
lesser of
not
the two evils.
like digested by the DNC, we are getting 4 more years of Trump because there are a lot of people just like me. Okay, so
Absolutely.
if we're digging in our heels and we're saying not anymore, you're going to have to deal with us.
Yeah.
That's a lesson that has to be learned. And if
Absolutely.
it takes 4 more years of Trump to do it, it takes 4 more years of Trump to do it. But at some point, the DNC is going to have to realize that they can't push their bullshit anymore. No, I'm not going to not vote at all. No, I'm going to either vote third party or I'm going to do a write in. But not voting gets counted as, it works against the polling data, is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. If you don't vote, then your message will not be heard.
No.
So you have to vote. You have to.
Yes.
But you can do. I hate to call it a protest vote, but you totally can,
Yeah.
and you totally should. You should send that message.
I mean, heck, I wish that the I wish, even though I didn't really agree with them that much, I do wish that the Green Party had gotten that, what was it, 5% that they needed to get funded, just because I wanted a third party option to actually be viable with money in our political system. Like, I'm so sick and tired of this two-party bullshit. Like, it's this side or it's that side, and anything in between just doesn't exist.
It's not that it affects nothing. It's not that it means nothing, because it's a data point. It will make a difference. It may not actually mean nothing. It may not mean anything in this specific election as far as who gets elected, but it's still demographics. It still sends a message. It says, here are some people who are not for either party, or here are people who are for these values which you didn't give them.
Exactly.
I mean, like if they're going to say, here's 2 bowls of shit, choose a flavor, choose a smell, I'm saying I'm not eating from a bowl of shit.
Right. Yep.
Well, Jen, if a Trump win means further destruction, well, then maybe you should start working for not a Trump win, and that means that, I mean, if the nominee is someone unpalatable to too many people, that's the fault of the people who made sure that was the nominee. You cannot put it all on the people who refuse to vote for them. You can't do that. I'm sorry, it's not true. And if you insist that it is true, you're not looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Jen, this is not selfish urges. The selfish urges are the people insisting that the status quo, that the establishment has to be in power. They're the selfish ones.
Exactly.
If you listen to the values espoused by the people who are on the progressive wing, they are saying their entire message is, let's care about like the working class, regular people. And so this is anything but selfish. This is selfless.
Exactly. You have people that are willing to risk their own everything, their own money, their own bank accounts. They would gladly give up their millionaire status, or whatever the hell you want to call it, to see other people's lives, like, mine and yours, improve. People that are disabled, people that can't work, people that are out of work, people that are unemployed, whatever the case may be, people that are homeless and living on the street. They want to give them housing, they want to give them food, they want them to be able to live.
Not to mention the planet itself. I mean, we have to move to a green source of energy, renewable energy,
Yeah.
or we are absolutely, like, they think it might already be past the
Yeah.
point of no return, that the planet is going to
I mean, I kind
basically
of
end
think
up
that,
eating itself.
you know,
I'm hearing talk about like how we'll have wars over water, that there
yeah,
won't be enough water for everybody. We cannot have this slow inch forward, and even then it won't do much good, because we'll take these inches
exactly.
forward and the right wing will take a surge backward.
I was
And
just
why
fixing to say
why
that.
can't we surge? Right? Why can't the left wing do more than baby steps? Why can't we run?
Exactly.
And choosing a moderate is going to make it so that we'd be electing Republican light. I
Yes.
mean, even Obama came right out and said that his values in the 80s would have been Republican values.
Yeah.
The country has moved too far right, and we need to drag it kicking and screaming back to the
Back
left.
to the other side. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's what's ridiculous is that, I'm sorry, but whenever you have 80% or more of the American public agreeing, Americans typically don't agree that often on anything. Anything. So whenever you have 80% or more of the country agreeing issue by issue by issue with the progressive stance on issues, substantive issues, that's the stance you need to take. So if you try to put a moderate up for election, no, it's not gonna fly.
And
It's not
Jen,
gonna fly.
I'm sorry, but the DNC ensured the death of everything. Okay,
Yeah,
the way they cheated in the
the
last
DNC
nomination
fucked that over bad.
ensured that, like, whether it was fast or slow, we were going to get royally fucked. And if you don't see that, if you don't accept that, well, I don't know what to tell you, because
Yeah.
it was that sort of shenanigans and chicanery that got us Trump.
Yep.
That's what it is. And so,
And now
if
they want
you're,
to do it all over again.
yeah, and they have to be stopped in some fashion. And if that means making sure that they're not voted for again, then so be it. They have to understand that they cannot win with these tactics anymore. Have to. I
And
mean,
look how
if
close
not
they
now,
came.
when is our time? Like,
Yeah.
because if we elect a moderate this election, they're going to go, aha, we can use the other side as a threat, as a club, to make you do things our way. And
Yep.
we have to tell them no somehow.
And that will be a precedent that gets used forever and ever and ever over the American public's heads.
Right. So at what point do we have our time? How do we have our time? Is it ever?
Yeah. At some point, you have to say enough is enough. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, enough was enough years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago. Like, since I reached voting age, it's been fucking enough.
So I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you think that we have to vote blue no matter who, frankly, you're part of the problem.
Vote
Okay.
on policy, not party.
Mm-hmm. So it's like 10 after 7. I'm very hungry. I think I'm gonna go to get me that burger I was talking about.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm jelly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go. And who knows, I might end up super tired again. Like, I think I told you that I had done like a shit ton of aerobic exercise yesterday and then slept from like 9 p.m. to about 8 p.m. or p.m. And I may still be that worn out because I'm already kind of tired. So I'm going to head out and I'll catch you later.
Well, thanks for being here, Kate.
Sure, I had a
Seriously,
good
I
time.
love
Who
having you
knows,
here every time.
if you're still up after dinner, maybe I'll rejoin.
Well, we'll see what happens here, because who knows how long I'm going to last.
Well, have fun. Catch you
It
like
was
the
great
plague.
talking to you again, Kate.
Yeah, you too. Don't get run over.
Okay. Take care,
Been
sweetness.
there, done that. Already happened.
Oh my. Anyway, no, I'm not too obvious about it, am
So we
I?
went through politics. Okay, what's next?
Oh man, that's going to be the death of us anyway. But
I can't see chat, so because I'm on my phone, so I probably pissed off enough people. So
well, let's see what Chad
what
has
do
to
we
say
have
here. Whoopie.
next? Oh Lord, you yawned. Now I'm gonna be next.
Okay. Okay. Orla says Janet's not over yet for the planet, not by a long shot. Humanity still does have time to change. But even if we all die off, the planet will survive. Well, that's right. The planet will survive, and that's a good thing. Um,
I hope the planet survives.
Trying to make sense here of Jen said I kinda find of the letter Y. I'm not sure what that meant. The people part and worry about my grandnieces. Pull my chain and you get the reward. Okay. Um, Me, I don't know. Well, I suppose I could always think of what brought a look of shock and horror to my doctor's face a couple days ago. And there's always, getting a movement together to mass suicide in the Capitol steps.
Yeah, I've actually heard. I can't remember where, but I was listening to some podcast or something where they were actually discussing that as a like a theoretical, like in theory, if enough people were to do that, in protest, so to speak, what do you think would happen? What do you think the outcome would be? And do you think it would make any type of impact or change on the country? And it was an interesting conversation. It was like, I mean, morbid, but I'm into morbid shit. So it was it was an interesting conversation.
I mean, to be honest, I'm to the point where it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I'd like to see things better. I really would. But if
Same.
things are better, they will be better for those who come after me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, and that's what I'm worried about. I mean, of course I'm worried about, the time I have left, but I'm more worried about, like my 5-year-old nephew and 3-year-old niece and the type of world that they're going to grow up in and the type of country that they're going to be left with. Like I don't know.
yeah, it's
I mean, it's like we said multiple times now. I think pretty much every time I've been on with you, we've said it's going to take generations to undo the damage that has been caused, and that sucks.
well,
That
there's
sucks.
something I can definitely agree with Jen Morgan saying, go ahead and watch the nation burn in your quixotic fantasies. I'll be dead before your suffering starts. So will I. And this is
Yeah.
where I say it's selfish. I know it's selfish, but I'm kind of looking forward to dying.
I don't think
Um,
that's selfish. I don't think when you're sick and suffering that it's selfish to look forward to the end of your suffering. You know
uh,
what I mean?
well, okay, over the illness, I'm not suffering too much yet, but it's just I got a pretty good idea of where things are heading, and
Right.
I'll see about making an appointment with a nephrologist just to shut Marty up this once. but I can't afford appointment after appointment after appointment after appointment. I know
Right.
that. And like I say, I'll get to miss a lot of stuff. I will get to miss the water wars. I will get to miss the food wars with the coastlines underwater. I'll get to miss people killing each other over a place to live. That doesn't sound all that bad.
Yeah. I mean, if that's where we're headed, fuck, I don't want to live to see that.
The only problem.
Am I audible with the Jeep noise? Can you hear me?
But yeah, kind of.
Sorta,
Yeah,
kinda.
you're about 5x3.
All right, I'll be quick then. I'll say it. I'm being selfish. I want you to hang around.
Oh my! I don't know why anybody wants me around, but that's another story.
You're interesting. You're intriguing. You're engaging. You're entertaining.
Let's not forget knowledgeable, and let us not forget wise. I'd like to throw those in there.
Well, I'm a wise ass. I know that.
I agree with Sai. Yes. Intelligent, wise. Yes.
all the things the general populace does not want.
Well, they don't want me either, so it's okay.
Hey, I'm in the populace. Who says we don't want you?
Yeah, but you're not the general populace. You're special. My.
Did this thing finish charging yet? Oh, good.
Wait a minute. Read above for Psy.
Go.
Oh, here we go. This one. This fantasy to the point of giving power to the very animals that are killing you. It's what has made me walk away from politics and the urban mess. I'll gladly die here in the woods. It sounds kind of nice, really. Jen, I know that feeling. It's just, it's bad when you have people, not only me, there are others who think these things too, thinking about this as a result of where the society is headed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, what's the word? No change of office holders or judges on the bench or anything like that is going to do anything about it. The change has to be the people who are putting those people in power in the first place. It has to be the electorate.
And it starts at the local level. I always tell people, if you want things to change, stop paying so much attention, or stop paying only attention to presidential elections, and pay attention to your local government elections, because those are the people that become senators and congressmen and then go on to become president or something else. Like, those are the people that get in power. So if you want to create change, vote in your fucking local elections to start with.
You're the best. You said my thing, and I was worried that you guys were going to call it off before I got to a slowing down and parking point where I could say it. So, thank you. Yes, start now. The general election is not the time. Now this next part you may disagree with. This whole it's got to be people I approve of, or I'm going to do a protest vote or something. I think the general election, in my opinion, might be a little late for that. That
Yeah.
if enough activity happened before the primaries, way before, then we wouldn't have to worry about it because we would have the correct people in place. And if we lose at that point,
Yep.
we don't have the people we want, then it's our doing. Anyway, thank you for saying my other thing. That was exactly what I was thinking. So,
I actually agree with you there. I do agree with you there. Because I think that, well, I mean, America's political system and us as a nation have become so corrupt, and we have no one to blame for that but ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We made the vote or didn't make the vote. We picked the people in office in our state, in the federal, on every level. We put them there in the first place. We allowed it to happen. There's a status quo for a reason, because the people, the little minions of the world, are happy not having to think. They don't want to think about it. They want to just go about their business and tune the world out, pretend like nothing else exists, and go about their lives doing whatever it is they're doing to numb their mind. And they don't want to have to decide. They don't want to have to make big decisions. They don't want to have to think about these things. They want government to do it for them, but then they want to bitch about the government, but then they want to, like, it's a very weird dichotomy. And it's just like, it's our fault that it got this way in the first place. Take your fucking power back. Take your power back. The power belongs to the people. Take it back.
well
Well,
said indeed. I concur wholeheartedly.
it gets more and more difficult with each passing day. So the sooner the better.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's just like correcting a course.
Yep.
If you discover you're off course after a mile, it's a lot easier to get back on course than it is after 200,000 miles.
Yep. Absolutely. And, you know, the biggest example that I can give, at least off the top of my head anyway, just because it's the state I was born in, is, you know, regarding local elections and power, Bobby Jindal. Bobby Jindal was the governor of my home state of Louisiana. And that man is fucked.
Oh, yeah.
He is fucked. And the only reason he ever got as far in politics as he did was because people were dumb enough to vote for him in the first place and put him in local office, which set him up for success later down the road.
Oh, my. Okay. Power taken from the bottom up, not top down. Yeah, it's
I'm tired.
basically what I was after. You know what I'm saying? It's the electorate that's got to change first.
Oh, yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
then,
I
This is the kind of talk I love to hear. This is before the whole leaving the country thing. This is stand and fight talk. This is what I like to hear. Not leave the country. There's a problem. Let's freaking fix it. That's what I like to hear a lot.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's lots of times I've like wanted to leave the country. I still kind of do. But, you know, I'm not going to leave the country and continue to bitch. Like, no, I want it fixed. I want it fixed. Like, fix this shit. Somebody has to fix this mess. And it might as well be us. Like, fix it. Take your power back. Vote. Fix it. Don't let your kids have to deal with this fucking problem.
I hope there's time.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I don't know how much time we got left, but you know,
Well, don't count
whether
on me for
it's
very much.
yeah, whether it's no time at all or whether it's eternity, either way, my personal philosophy is if you're gonna go down, you might as well go down fighting. So that's all I got.
Yeah, as long as...
Well, all of these problems we're talking about fixing are. Oh, here's a little ray of sunshine for our day. All of these problems we're talking about are all short-term problems. These are all very the things we're doing. Yeah, short-term, 10, 20 years fixed. Here's my little ray of sunshine. There's much worse problems coming. Much worse. The long-term problems are okay. One, there's too many of us.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many of us. The planet is not. I mean, we're doing good with the GMOs. We've got higher yields. We've got more food being produced. We're feeding more people, but there's a limit. There's a limit to that, and that's when the nastiness starts. So yeah, but we do have to work very hard to clean up this short-term stuff so we can adequately address that stuff. So
Oh yeah.
there's a little more cheer. Sorry about that.
You're fine. But no, I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, because, in the big picture, yeah, these are the smaller problems that are fixable. And, we have to get them fixed, like Sai said, so that we can be in a position where we can even almost fix the bigger issues.
But why do you think I'm so enchanted with space travel and all the great things we're doing and the whether or not it's going to come to fruition? I don't know if you've heard Jeff Bezos' vision of the future with millions of people living off world. He's talking about rotating sections for artificial gravity and all that sort of thing. See, we can work as hard as we can to fix problems here, and I wish us all the success. If we all work hard enough, I think we can do it. But see, it's not profitable to fix all the problems. That's where we run into trouble.
That's true. That's very true.
The folks with the bucks go, well, let's see, we can fix the problems. That's going to screw up profitability. And let's see, I'm only going to live about 30 more years anyway, so what the hell? Let's go for the bucks.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think there will be humanity somewhere. That's
right.
This is why I'm so enchanted with space exploration and all that sort of thing. Humanity can't just end. I'd be very distressed. Well, no, I'd be very dead, I guess, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder.
I would love to travel space. I still want my Star Trek fantasy. Okay, I want my Star Trek utopia. God damn it! Like.
Oh, that's right, and that's, you know what? You reminded me of something way earlier in the conversation. Way earlier, there was talk about, everybody has to. Well, why does everybody have to work? Who was it? There was someone who had said, well, we've got machines doing more and more.
Oh, yeah. Kate was talking about that.
Yes, but I mean, somebody else prior to us all having this nice conversation was like, well, what happens on the day when the machines can produce everything we need?
Right.
Do we still have to say, oh, no, you got to get up and go to work? No, that's when, that's probably what's going to happen, but that would be the time that we could have the Star Trek utopia where your job is self-improvement. Your job is to learn and things like that.
Your job is your passion.
Indeed. And in such a case, the only thing we have to worry about is that folks would not choose self-improvement, but wall-sized television screens. And that would be just as bad for humanity, because although we'd survive, we really wouldn't be making any kind of progress. We'd be, watching TV all day.
Yeah,
So,
but I think the people that would choose that, honestly, would like in this type of reality, I think that I think the amount of people that would choose that would be the minority. It would kind of be like, because at that point in time, it would kind of be along the same lines of addiction, because it would
mm,
be seen as addiction, like at that point. Like if
mm,
all you ever did was just sit in your house and watch TV, it
yeah,
would be seen as a form of addiction.
especially with so many other opportunities where you're not obligated to slave
Exactly.
your life away until you drop dead. Um,
Yep.
that's it. And I mean, for me, and obviously for you folks, this is a very attractive thing. Having time. How many things is it? How many things are there we'd love to know, for the sake of knowing, to improve ourselves, that we do
Oh,
not have time? Oh, okay. I see a hand up. You.
yes. Yes. I love psychology. I love philosophy. I am dead set on sometime before I kick the bucket, I'm gonna go back to school and get my psych degree. But I mean, there's a shitload of things that I would love to learn. If I had the money, I would be a full-time student for the rest of my life just to learn.
And if people had the ability to do that, I mean, we've advanced pretty quickly over the last couple of decades, faster than I really can't imagine how it happened. Just the technology,
Oh yeah.
how we've advanced so quickly. How much more quickly would we advance in such a situation where you had time to do what you talked about? And you know what's funny? Your dream that you would love to have time for, I'm sure everybody noticed, is something that's going to help other people.
Yeah.
That's a great dream to have. If only everybody had such dreams. This is what I want out of life. I want to be able to help other people.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
I
Oh,
think
well.
that, in a different way, I think that a lot of people would choose something like that. I don't, at least I hope anyway, it's not as rare as we think it is. Like, I think a lot of people would choose that if it weren't for the fact that we're currently in a situation where whenever you do choose fields that help other people, typically they're fields that don't pay very much money, or if they do pay a lot of money, it becomes like a corrupt type situation where it's
Mm.
all about the money and not about helping people anymore.
Yes, there's that. And also, when less people, which goes to what you said about hopefully people would be more motivated to go that way, is less people would be. I'm sure a lot of people choose profitability because they're in survival mode.
Exactly.
Got to feed the family. Got to get the kids in school. Oh my God! Look at what that's going to cost. It's going to cost $4 million each, and we got 3 of them. What are we going to do?
Yep.
Those kind of pressures don't allow people to think. Yeah, well, let's see. If I took a couple of years doing this, I could study something where 100,000 people would live easier. They don't have time for that because they can't.
Exactly. And one of those people might hold the cure to cancer. One of those people might hold the cure to HIV. One of those people, you know what I mean? Like, how many
Mm,
people could have already cured Alzheimer's, for example? It's just that one person or those few people that would have been capable of creating that cure, they couldn't because they were stuck working a 9 to 5 job, trying to feed their family.
indeed. Alrighty. So there's hope, but it's slim. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah.
Hey, Cy, Puffalopicus is wondering, are you familiar with Isaac Arthur?
Isaac Arthur. I am.
The-
I don't know. No, I have to say no.
Um,
Sounds familiar, but I don't know why.
I'm trying to think. I thought that name sounded vaguely familiar. Okay.
Yeah.
What do we have here from the font of all knowledge?
RJ?
Definitely. Let's see. Isaac Albert Arthur is a science communication YouTuber and futurist. He is best known as producer of his YouTube channel Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur, where he discusses a broad variety of topics on futurism and space colonization. Actually, I wouldn't mind discussing abroad, but no, that's another story. That ain't gonna be happening.
Oh my.
That
So,
sounds very interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out. Isaac
And
Arthur.
I have returned to the home. I'm going to do that very thing as well.
Welcome back home.
Notice without White Castle. No White
Aw.
Castle.
oh no!
Oh no. No, oh hey, no, this is not a reason to be sad. I told you before, it was a conscious choice not to divert to White Castle because you folks are so freaking interesting.
Aw.
I chose that. It was a good choice. I am
Well, no,
very good
you
with it.
I was awing over you saying you guys are so freaking interesting. Aw, that's sweet.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember.
I subscribe so that I don't forget to check that channel out later.
What I'm trying to look for sounds a little bit like. Let's see. Wait a minute.
Which I wish I was on my computer because then I have OBS so I can like pull it up. Screen.
Oh, good. Abby's okay. Good. Abby's very old. She's a Welsh Corgi. She's very old.
Aw.
Okay, no, that's the one name I was thinking of, and it's not the name. This is the other name I was thinking of, and it's not the name I was thinking of. Because I got a set of two books years ago. One was by Grant Fiermedal. I'm trying to remember who the other person was, and it sounds very much like one or both of these people. Fiermedal wrote The Tomorrow Makers, A Brave New World of Living Brain Machines. Sounds very much like a futurist of his day. This was published 30 years ago. God, and I got it as a first edition. Damn, I'm old. But
I'm cold. You're old. I'm cold. It is freezing in this house. My brother was hot, so we turned the freaking air on, and I'm like, ah, I need my sweater.
I don't know. That would be interesting. I'd have to look. I'd have to look at his stuff. I have seen him before. It's been a long time since I looked at him. Now that would be interesting if he'd show up here. Yeah, I'm scraping the mind here, trying to think of people to bring on the show now.
Ah.
Well, my doctor is going to be one of them, but I'm going to wait until he retires.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Marty
Putting
is
your doctor
retiring.
on?
Marty is retiring at the end of next month, and he has worked with a very respectable number of trans folk, and I'd love to get his opinions on some of the issues that we've been facing lately. You know, that whole rationality rules thing and everything else like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of trans folk.
Oh, there you are. I got my tablet back on. Rationality rules. I don't actually know a whole lot about him or his channel. I just I know the controversy that has erupted, and before the controversy erupted, I actually did see his video just by sheer, I don't know what the word is even,
Wait a minute.
just happenstance.
Who is who? You ask who is this, Diana? Not, and you also said the suicide rate in senior citizens is climbing fast. Can you guess why? My first guess is that they can't afford to live.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say they. I should say we.
yeah. Well, I mean, Americans in general are unhappy. We're unhealthy, we're unhappy, we're uneducated, I mean, geez. We're in debt.
Oh, the guest, yeah, is my GP, my physician, who founded a community health clinic here in Pittsburgh. Well, co-founded actually,
Mm-hmm.
doing their best to provide health care to people who have a hard time affording it.
Oh, nice.
He's also worked with many much trans folk. He was attached to the gender center that I went to
Oh,
when I first
okay.
gender counseling center.
Yeah.
Uh, he's taken me through.
Blinky, yay.
What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry, I said blinky, yay.
Blinky, yay! Okay, I couldn't make out the first word. Yeah, he's taken me from boy to where I am now. So, well, for whatever that
To the
means.
woman you are today.
He's a sweetie. He really is. Um, the only time he gets on my nerves a little bit because he's so by the book.
You know, at one point,
You're
I
over
did
50, see it.
consider.
Say again?
At one point, I could never. Whenever I first like applied to college and all that, I always knew I wanted to go into psychology, but I could never make up my mind, like what branch and what exactly I wanted to do. And so I went back and forth between a lot of different things. And at one point, I actually considered going into counseling transgender people. Like I was very, very interested in that side of things. Um, I did I did some volunteer work for about a year, um, a long time ago, for a hotline where people called in and just to like talk about their problems and stuff like that and issues they were having transitioning, and most of them were younger, and they sometimes we would actually talk to their parents for them, or with them, to try and help the parents understand, like what they were going through, and what it meant, what it didn't mean, stuff like that. And it was very rewarding. Like I very much enjoyed it. And so yeah.
Wait a minute here. Puffalophagus. I was told yesterday by a Bible thumping Christian that because I feel the LGBTQ community deserves right, I must identify as one. What is that thing with the E in there? Must be part of the community. That last part I don't quite get. Hi, Tria.
Hey Tria. Um I don't know what there's a E? I don't know. I mean, I know LGBTQIA, and the I is for intersex, the Q is for queer, and the A is for not ally but asexual. I don't know. But I mean, you don't have to be LGBT to believe that they deserve rights and basic human decency.
Okay. Because what I was looking at, Puff, it looked like
Oh,
it looked like a vertical bar and a cap E,
yeah,
and then
that's
another
what it looked
vertical
like to
bar.
me
Yeah,
too.
okay,
Like
now I got it.
trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
take
yeah, yeah, yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
E. Yeah. Okay.
I.e., I get that. Yeah, okay. Oh, I
Gotcha.
don't know. They like to throw what they consider as insults.
Yeah. That that's just a, and I don't even know how that's an insult. Like, oh, you must be one of them. I would just be like, yes I am, and I'm proud. What? Like,
I mean, that's the nice thing is I really haven't had that much to lose, so I've been able to go full, full out, full face.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, I guess they thought it was an insult. I'm not really sure. Oh no, we lost a sigh. Um,
he
I,
went bye bye.
I'm sure he'll be back. I think the call just dropped or something. But no, we were talking about, or they had gotten into an argument with me over like trans issues and rights and stuff like that. And they like just smart ass remarked to me that, oh, you must be one of those trans people then. And I'm like, sure, why not? Yeah. Welcome back, Cy.
Hey,
Thank you.
hey, sweetness.
Thank you very much.
But I was just like, am I supposed to take that as an insult? Like, you do realize I'm not insulted by that. So, I mean, like, you're factually incorrect because I'm not. But if you want to call me that, sure, yeah, whatever. It's not like it hurts my feelings.
Oh man. Okay. What the hell are you tearing apart, Si?
I dropped my lighter and I can't find it.
Oh no. I don't know. Maybe it's time to quit smoking, huh?
Well, you know what they say, everybody quits eventually.
Yep. Pretty much. I'm
So,
amazed. I'm amazed I've made it this far.
yes, it is a bad thing. I do not recommend it for anyone.
Because trying to remember how long I went the last time I tried quitting and how long ago that was.
I wish I had taken Latin. Like, that is one thing I regret. And if I ever, when I go back to school, I'm definitely going to take Latin because, yeah.
Well, I took German. That's the next best thing.
That works. Yeah, my dad used to sing me like German lullabies and stuff like that when I was really, really little, because he was in the military and he was deployed in Germany. So he learned the language.
What I love about German is it's the only language in which I love you sounds like a threat.
It does. It does.
I always thought of German as angry English.
Everything sounds very angry. It does.
Latin is interesting to think about. Is that language used to be a lot more complex back when we think of humanity in general being a lot less advanced.
Yes.
And all the Romance languages now are, and not to be insulting, it was for convenience or necessity. They're simplified versions of Latin. Yeah. In Latin, you can just say a verb, and people know by the verb. Well, someone else who understands Latin knows how many people you're talking to, what the mood is.
Yeah.
and we've gotten down to and then there's English, the language of children.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fortunately, there's the last surviving close cousin of Latin that still exists, and I'm told it's getting watered down a little bit too, is Romanian.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is, I maintain if you're not born there, you're not speaking it. I mean, you can ask where the bathroom is and tell people you're hungry, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
What was that? I'm trying to remember. Okay. Did you guys see on Twitter, and I can't remember the full context of it, so if you did see it, let me know and tell me what the context was. But there was some issue that happened on Twitter where somebody got all upset over people calling other people Romani, even though that's the word they call themselves. And the other person was trying to call them gypsies. And the other person was trying to explain that's actually a slur and they're Romani. It was weird.
the
Wait.
I don't know what video that you're referring to, but I do know that what are called gypsies are often referred to negatively as Roma. I know that.
I wasn't aware of the Roma part, but they self-identify as Romani. They
Mhm.
call themselves the Romani. And someone on Twitter was saying that was a slur and reported them for hate speech. Like, it was very strange. But I don't remember. It was a few weeks ago, so in Twitter world, that's like years. So I don't.
Okay, now Skeptic Mafia. No, I am not currently learning a language. A while back, I was trying to learn Russian. That was fun. Maybe I'll start trying to pick that up again. Jen, you wanted to learn German in high school. Your father wouldn't let you too soon after World War II? That's interesting. Because I did not hear any of that. I was learning German in high school, and I'm 2 years younger than you are. So that's interesting. I wonder if it's the geography of it or what.
Tria, yeah. Gypsy, depending on where you're at, gypsy is the term that's considered the slur. Romani is what they call themselves.
I'm sorry, not 2 years, 3 years younger than you are. I'm just short of 62.
Oh, sweet. You're learning Hebrew? That's cool. I want to learn Japanese so bad. But
What
like I
language?
said earlier, every time I start, I do really well, and then something happens, I get sick, I stop, and then I forget absolutely everything I learned.
You know what language I fear to try to learn is Chinese, and not because of the speaking part, but because of the lettering. One
Yeah.
picture, one word, and it's not phonetic.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's just frightening to me. I'm wondering if if that's not even possible to be able to do it in writing.
what amazes the heck out of me and scares the heck out of me with Chinese is a tonal language. So, depending on how you say the word, it can have three meanings. If the inflection is rising, it has one meaning. If it's falling, it has another meaning. If it's rising and falling, it has a third meaning. And you could, I suppose, conceivably, be asking what's for breakfast, and think you're asking what's for breakfast, and you've actually insulted somebody's mother.
Right? Yeah. Oh, you used to be fluent in Japanese, Michelle? That's dope. Awesome.
That An interesting way to learn a language is just to be dropped there. Back when I was in high school, the Rotarians, the Rotary Club, did they were funded student exchange programs, and it was not a necessity that you knew the language of where you were going, because they told everybody 2 weeks you'll be able to communicate with your host family. In a month, you'll be able to go out on your own and get where you need to go. And the whole time you went to school, not special school, regular school with regular students, and it was true. And one of the people from our group went to Japan. We all got together after, knew no Japanese whatsoever going. Upon returning, quite fluent. And when I had just, I don't know, a few years ago, gone back to France, I didn't think, I thought it was gone, because if I living here, just let me say something in French, it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
But being there and hearing it, I found hopping into a taxi, I was speaking it again, of course, with a Belgian accent, and they found that hilarious. But that's
great.
but that's another thing. They seem so excited that, first off, my two business partners at the time didn't speak any French, and the folks in Paris, everyone badmouths France and the Parisians. Oh, they're the snobbiest. Wrong. We were there. People would bend over backwards trying to make sure they understood my two business partners to help them get to wherever the hell they wanted to go to. And if you even put effort into speaking their language,
They're thankful.
they wanted to take you home and give you dinner. Oh, look,
Yes.
he's not expecting us to learn his language while he's standing here. Excellent. But it was the most,
Exactly.
and it all came back. They got a little frustrated when I just said non for 90 instead of 420's 10, because in France that's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
You can just say 90 in Belgium.
And I
But
dearly
anyway.
love cornbread. Oh man.
Well, I'm unfortunate. I'm going to have to make my egress. I have some stuff and things that must be addressed, not the least of which will be feeding Miss Abby over there. Abby's the corgi.
Okay. Woof.
She doesn't woof anymore. Like I said, she's very old. She'll look at you and raise an eyebrow. That's what you get.
Sounds
she'll-
like my cat. I have a
she'll-
21-year-old cat. That,
Oh my!
Yeah, she's ancient.
Well done. You must be taking very good care of that cat.
I don't know.
Well, that's what they say. If you're in a positive environment, you thrive. Obviously, the cat's in a positive environment.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, folks. I must make my egress. Had a great time. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, thanks for coming by.
I will. And once again, excellent show with Aron.
Oh my. Thank you. Wait a minute. Read this to Sai. I'm wondering if Jen means okay. She says, Sai, let's talk before next movie night.
Okay. You can. I don't know. Are we on Twitter or Facebook? By whatever means necessary, just message me.
Jen's on Discord, I know.
Oh, there you go. Whichever, DM me by any means at your disposal. They'll all make my phone do noisy things, and I will respond immediately.
They say patrasa por la patatiana. No, I don't know what I just said.
But it was damn deep, I'll tell you that. Alrighty. Well, have a good night, and thank you once again. And once again, praise for your hosting of your show earlier. It was very impressive. Watch the whole thing. It was great.
Yeah.
And you know me, if there's something nasty to say about it, I'd be out with it right now, and I got nothing.
And
You did well.
I don't know if you caught the DM in Discord, but I want to one way or another thank Karis for the recommendation.
Oh,
Because I was looking, and I don't think there's a way to find her on the intrawebs anymore, is there?
not really. I think she looks at Twitter now and again.
Yeah, I remember seeing her on Twitter. Now I don't see her there again, so maybe she went hiding again. So I'll snag her and thank her for the recommendation. Yeah, for the co-hosting.
Yeah, that was the first suggestion. All right. Well, good night, all. And yeah, Jen, just message by whatever means at your disposal. I will certainly respond immediately. And good night, all. Thanks a lot.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
It was great talking
Thank
to
you. Take
See you
care.
soon. See you soon.
Night
Bye.
night. And I am actually starting to fade. I don't know about you, Silver.
Yeah, I'm starting to get kind of tired too.
So I'll tell you what, guys. If nobody minds, what we may just go ahead and do here, because we've been running for something over 2 hours. So I think what I'll say at this point is thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.
It was great talking to you again, Diana.
Yay.